Hey, what's up everybody? 3D Theory here. It is July 25th, 2024 at 7:20 a.m. It is vlog number 14. So, I'm having a little bit of a issue with this morning's AMS. It did it last night too. It's definitely moist PETG. I probably got to get a filament dryer pretty soon. If you saw all that stringing that I was just showing there, this has probably been paused almost all night. Resume printing, problem solved. So yesterday I just resumed the print and it worked just fine. Let's see, that's being moved. Yeah, this happened already once last night. And let me try to clear this out, even though I'm pretty sure it'll clear it out on its own. Basically, that clog happened, or not clog, it just got stuck somehow. And I just clicked resume. It heated up as it needs to, and it continued. But like you saw, those strings probably are a sign that it's too moist, or it's just very moist. There you have it. It's being extruded out, so everything's fine. I just don't know why that happens. Very interesting. Is this being pulled too hard again? No. Alright, and there it goes, just continuing. Just a lot of like cotton candy like filament. That's a filament in the coffee type of zone, so I took it out of there. Alright. Well, we got this today. I'm going to build this out so I can stop procrastinating on it. We already have one empty spool, and I'm happy to say that all these now are empty spools. So that AMS is really doing its job. Really happy about that. One full box of near empty spools are now completely empty spools that had been used to make parts. Super cool. And we got a whole box of near empty spools here. And we got about 5 or 6 down there. A couple in the back. And I will say that the moisture content was on my mind. I was wondering, oh, did it happen again? Nonetheless, it continued, so anyhow. But the moisture content was on my mind. I was wondering how it would perform because I don't have a filament dryer just yet. And in all honesty, this is the first time I'm seeing stringing like to this degree. So this spool here, for some reason, absorbed more moisture than an entire box that had been sitting out in a box for give or take 2 months with no desiccant or nothing like that. So that's pretty amazing that everything I've printed so far, which have been 2 of these, another left latch, and then 2 left, and then a left and a right plate. So 5 parts have printed out perfectly good. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to see this built out, there's a video I created on how to assemble it. In the link is a Maker World link to my Maker World profile where you can download this for free. For those of you who didn't see it, it's I call it the Dark Throne. It's a Sith throne that Ralph McCurry designed for the original trilogy, but ended up making it to on-screen on Star Wars Episode 9. You can put your phone like that, or like that, and you could also tilt it, so you can bring this over and tilt it like that. So if you guys are interested, it's free on MakerWorld. I'll put the link in the description of this video too if you guys want to see it. But the assembly, I created like a separate assembly video for it, and Also in vlog number 13, you'll see the same video as well. And it on the build plate. I printed it out on this one. Yeah, it's doing it again. Very strange. But I ought to invest in a filament dryer, especially that now I'm working with PETG even more and more. Well, we got our parts, and I got a new scraper. I ordered this yesterday on Amazon, or day before yesterday. Oh no, was it yesterday? No, day before yesterday, and it came yesterday. And it's a really, really thick, good scraper. The one I had, the yellow one, is there, and here's this one. I needed something with the longer handle and a little bit stronger, a little bit thicker, because this one is a little flimsy, but it's still pretty thick. So I ended up going with this one, and it does a pretty good job. You'll see it in action. So I'm gonna get these off their build plates and get production going, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm just gonna take this off. I might as well just do this one at the same time. There you go. So here it is. It's $3 on Amazon. It was pretty worth it. Just helps me go a little bit further into the model instead of just going along on the edges of the outside. I can kind of push it further down. There you have it. A little bit of a stuck piece, but nonetheless, beautiful print. Yep, man, that's great. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I emptied them out. Last night I worked well into the night assembling. It was a long night, but a productive night, which makes that a good night. So yeah, it was good. Little tired this morning, but it's all good. All right, cool. Very nice. Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed the sound from behind me, but that printer keeps stopping and purging, and then it'll print for maybe about 10-15 seconds and then purge again. So now it just finished purging. I don't know if you could hear all that, but it's printing again now. Let's get this printed out. Let's get that printed out. And the filaments up here look fine. Yep, it stopped again. Oh, that is super strange, guys. Don't know what's happening here. Except for the moisture content, I could only assume that that's probably the reason. But it was a non-issue for me for quite some time. I wonder if I could switch to a different spool. Let's see. See, now it's starting to print. And I'm pretty sure it's going to stop right now and purge again. Yeah, it's almost purging layer by layer. So yeah, it really seems like it's, I don't know what's happening. Very interesting though. By the way, if anyone's wondering, the assistant is just talking about the slot number, yada yada, a filament is out, so it's going to switch to a different one that's the same. So there's no issue happening in that area. Oh, and also I did add one of these guys. I usually add it like I did to the CR6 Max. When it prints, it just keeps the tubes up. Without this thing, it kind of droops a little too much. I could even add another one to make it hold up even higher. I tried doing it a little bit down the line, but I felt like this was probably the safest place where it has this little rubber piece or silicone piece. And it just helps it keep it up a little bit. But I'm just going to clean off this part. Cool. And this part. So I did still find a new method, even though it had chipped away yesterday. Well, I just take it by one side and it seems to work. Yeah, this time it worked perfectly. Alright, looking good. And I just heard the cutter on the Bambu Lab A1 back there cut it. Yeah, something's wrong with that spool. I don't know what it is. So I heard it go over and cut the filament. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just switch that spool out of there completely and put a different spool in, because we got to get this piece finished up. And it says filament spool may be stuck, but it's not. So let me get a new spool of filament on there. Before I go off and deal with that, let me just get this production started. Slow but steady wins the race. Yep, that's good. Awesome, awesome. Alright, I got to get this one started, but this machine here needs a switch out of filament, so let me unload this. Alright, likewise, this filament's got to go until I get that filament dryer. I'm going to try to find a real inexpensive option. Someone had mentioned a 4-spool filament dryer by Sunlu in the comments, so I'm going to look into that, but I do want to get something that's a little more affordable. But then again, if it's something I'm going to need, I do want to get a good quality one. Alright. And let's get this on there. Okay. Just gonna press that yellow button, load it in. There you have it. And I'm just gonna click resume printing. Hopefully this spool is handled better, or is better. Alright, and let me grab one of these filaments. Hey, that vibration dampening I did actually worked okay. But now that I think about it, the amount of strings I'm seeing on the print behind me, it's definitely a sign that it's too moist. That's probably like 95% what it is. I tried putting off getting a filament dryer, thinking that maybe it'll be fine, but there you have it. That's the result of having moist filament, are those strings that you saw back there. Alright, let's see if this guy's going to need any help. Let's do a retry. Are we seeing any purged filament? No. I'm actually going to help that along. Sometimes it needs help, like in this case, but I got it. It's purging out. Very nice. And we are done. It is 81.9 degrees Fahrenheit in the 3D printer room. I'm going to go turn on that fan. I turned it on high this time. Alright guys, nonetheless, in the meantime, I'll do this. So this is pretty straightforward to build out. It's just I know that these screws going a little hard in the beginning, because you got to kind of tap it like a tap and die set. So I'm gonna just pop this guy on. Alright, I kid you not, on the Bambu Lab video, it looks like this tapers on both sides of the blade, but in our case, yeah, whoa, look at that. You got a taper, but on this one you don't have a taper. Interesting, and it's really sharp. Now that it doesn't have that extra taper there, it's actually much sharper. Whoa, curious. So yeah, I guess it differs in quality, but you got a taper there, and you got a taper there. Taper, no taper. Wow, interesting. Okay, I guess I'll just leave it then. And this one really has like zero taper whatsoever. Alright guys, as a matter of fact, this one that has a notch here but no notch there makes for extremely sharp, like razor sharp scraper. So when I go to pull these off of here, it catches on the PEI sheet a little bit, so I may or may not use it because it's so sharp. Yeah, see, like it's catching on the little. I'm not going to use this one. This is no good. So I put that aside. That's something. That's a little disappointing that that's like that. So I may have to take back what I said about these things being really awesome. They're really awesome when they actually have notches on both sides. But if they're coming like this, that's not good. That's not good. I'm gonna go ahead and try this one too. But as you can tell, it doesn't have a notch on this side, and yeah, it gets caught up on the rough material. So there was a couple of commenters saying that it would scrape away at the PEI sheet, and I just couldn't see how it will do that because of the scraper that I have. But the first scraper I made, actually, which is how it's supposed to be, a notch and a notch, even though this second notch is a little smaller, or taper rather, taper and a taper. But yeah, and so when I go at it right here, it doesn't really affect it, but because there is a little taper. But since those don't, I feel like it's going to cut away at the PEI roughness. Wow. So I guess I'm stuck with one. I can try to open up a different box and see what their razor is like, but I think I'm just going to stick with this one. I only use it to take off these parts anyway, or if there's a stuck piece somewhere on the PEI sheet. I don't really use it a whole lot for any other purposes, really. Alright, I'll say this about the scraper. When there's a taper on the tip here and a taper on the tip here, as you can see on both sides, this scraper is an awesome tool. But if there's only a taper on one side and the other side is flat, like this one is, where there's a taper on one side here but completely flat on this side, it makes for an extremely sharp scraper that gets like caught. Like I can't even push it forward, and it's probably gonna scrape away some of the rough texture. As you can see, there's like a little bit right there. So if you're using the scraper, just make sure you got tapers there and there, and it's kind of dull that way. Yeah, this is a lot of stringing going on. Check this out. Alright, I think I'm going to stop this print and use some of the more recent near empty spools, because this is not looking good at all. Alright guys, that about wraps it up for today's vlog. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, peace, love, and joy.